Hi everyone, my name is Carlos. I recently just got back from visiting my grandparents over the Thanksgiving holiday, and I realized that they have become less independent, less mobile, and they need more help getting things done. So my service would be to help the elderly or possibly the disabled accomplish things around the home a lot easier. So my service would help people do everything from basic household work to getting driven to doctor's appointments, basically anything that would meet the client's need. It would cost, depending on the service, what type of service it would be, how long the service would go on for. It's kind of a sliding scale, so it's not an exact number, but my hopes would be roughly $200 a month. Depending on the client, we could meet with them either once a week or up to several times a week, just depending on their needs. The product would be sold primarily online, kind of like an Uber style, where you would kind of sign up for the service and you would have someone from the company come out and meet you and take care of whatever need you have for that day. There would be one central office as well I understand that not all elderly people use computers or smartphones, so they would have the opportunity to call a physical number. That way they can set up arrangements for meetings or payments and things of that source. Again, the target market would be elderly people, disabled people, anybody that can't do things on their own. Anyone that needs help just doing basic things that all of us take for granted. I would advertise primarily on social media, also word of mouth. I'd love to get the opportunity to do advertise in places like doctor's offices, places like that, any kind of healthcare services. So anticipated sales. There's approximately 100,000 elderly people in the greater Albuquerque area. So if we were able to get even 0.5% of that, that would be about 500 people. 500 people at $200 a month over the course of 2 years would be $2.4 million. As far as profits go, it would be kind of tight because I would probably be looking forward of hiring about 20 individuals, and they would have to pay them roughly about $30,000 a year. I base that number off of that's what a typical elderly daycare provider gets. They make roughly $30,000, as well as like an Uber driver, since the service would be very similar to Uber. So if I paid 20 people $30,000 a year for 2 years, that'd be $1.2 million, already half of the profits. So after marketing, taxes, rent, if we have to get any kind of licenses, anything like that from the state, that would definitely eat into the profit. So there probably wouldn't be a profit. More than likely, the only way that there would be a profit is to grow the business. If we could take that maybe 0.5%, that 500 people, and maybe get it into the hands of 1,000 people. If the company would go statewide, if it would go nationwide, then we could start really seeing profits. But if it was based just on the greater Albuquerque area, it'd be very difficult to make a profit. What I'm going to take from this class is one thing that stood out for me throughout all these weeks is that my success is not tethered to someone else. I was always under the impression that, you know, the amount of money I make and the success I had was based off of how much an hour I could make. I always just assumed I'd work for somebody else. You know, I'd go to college, I'd get my degree, and then I'd find a job, and, you know, that would limit my spending. After this class, I really understood that there's more to it than that. And if I do want to venture out on my own, I definitely could. So that's what I'm going to take from this class. I hope everyone had a great semester. I look forward to reading everyone's responses. Have a great year.